Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the third meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. Please turn off your cell phones. When addressing the commission, please remember to state and spell your name clearly. Let's see. Calling agenda item number 1, transfer application number 25-00983 from Buho Waikiki LLC.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a disclosure that I know the applicant. We are members at Oahu Country Club, and colleagues, but this will not affect my ability to be impartial in deciding on this matter.
Okay, so noted.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Ryan Cole, RYANKO, manager at Paris Way, and happy to answer any questions concerning the transfer of this application.
Commissioners, any questions?
Yes, you are.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Okay, is there anyone who would like to testify for or against this application? Seeing none, commissioners.
I have a question.
No.
Motion to approve transfer application number 25-00983.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve transfer application number 25-00983. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The application is approved.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Calling agenda item number 2, application number 24-01779 from Bill's Waikiki LLC.
Mr. Chair, same disclosure holds.
Okay, so noted.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Ryan Cole, manager for Bill's Waikiki LLC, requesting a new liquor application for one of our newest establishments. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
All right, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. For the record, a summary of the May 22nd preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Commissioners Sakamoto and Cundiff prior to the public hearing.
Okay, Commissioner, is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify for or against this applicant? Okay, seeing none, commissioners, any questions?
I have no question.
No.
Motion to approve application number 24-01779.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve application number 24-01779. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The application is approved.
Thank you. Yes.
Calling agenda item number 3, application number 26-00035-1 to 26-0035-23, Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, Keith Kiyuchi for the applicant. This is the second series of special licenses my client has requested. We have no changes or additions to the investigative report.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Kyuchi, so do we have the return certified mailing for the,
You will
Neighborhood
before the, we have to pick this up.
okay?
Yeah.
I have no other questions.
Yeah.
Good. Motion to approve applications number 26-00035-1 through 26-00035-23 inclusively.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve application number 26-0035-1 to 26-0035-23 inclusive. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The application is approved. Okay, calling out of order agenda item number 11, request number 23-0036, Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill Inc.
Again, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, Keith Kiyuchi for the applicant.
And so, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of gonna ask my normal question. So I'm looking at your application, right?
Yes,
And so I'm assuming it's a new liquor license application, because I don't see a box marked. And then So I guess, was there any deficiencies on any of these things? There's no boxes there, but also I'm assuming, so have you burned through both of the two
We
Yeah,
burned
temporary
through both
lights?
of them back in May.
back in May? Okay,
That's why this is the second series of special licenses.
okay. Yeah, I think so I guess I would state like for future situations, even if you burn through them back in May, you might want to list it on there so we all have an idea
No,
when they happen.
I'll do that next time.
Because-
That's good.
Because our question will be, when did you burn through them, right?
Right, right.
Because
Yeah,
we have some people using some of this in a little bit different way, and so we just want to make sure.
yeah, right now, working with, I guess, licensing supervisor in trying to get this moving is the
Yeah.
top priorities.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I'm good. I have no questions. Good. Motion to approve request number 26-00036.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00036. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 4. Request number 25-0055 from LMB number 1 LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jesse Aguinaldo, JSSE AGUINALDO.
Okay. Ronaldo, maybe just update on what happened.
Yeah, it's just an oversight on my part, going through a lot during that time. So that's what happened pretty much. Leasing and all that stuff got in the way. Yeah.
I have no other questions. Motion to approve request number 26-00055.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00055. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved. Okay. Calling agenda item number 5, request number 26-00056, Local Mocal Burger LLC.
Jesse Aguinaldo, JSSE AGUINALDO. Same situation, oversight.
Motion.
Yeah.
Motion to approve request number 26-00056.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00056. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Calling agenda item number 6, request number 26-00074, Cafe WBE LLC. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioner. I'm just renewing my license right now. I'm putting it at safekeeping.
Can you state your name?
Yeah.
Oh, Tally Nguyen is HALENGUYEN.
Been in safekeeping.
Is it in safekeeping currently
Yes,
or?
it's in safe.
And so how long has it been in safekeeping?
For a little over 6 months.
6 months. Okay. We just want to make sure if it's like a couple
Yes.
years, we want to check what's going on. Yeah, okay. I have no other questions.
None.
Good. Motion to approve request number 26-00074.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00074. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 7, request number 26-00076, Waikiki Resorts Hotel, Inc.
Hi, aloha. My name's Adam Miyasato, ADAMMIY SATO, Director of Finance for the Waikiki Resort Hotel.
My name is Songjun Kim, SUNGJUNGKIN, as General Manager.
Mr. Miyasato, maybe what happened here?
Oversight, and there was a lapse. We did a ownership change, and there's this fell through the cracks, unfortunately. But we're very sorry.
Particularize the calendar for next year.
Absolutely, we have many safeguards in place.
Thanks.
Motion to approve request number 26-00076.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00076. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved. Calling agenda item number 8, request number 26-00087. Nizam Lu.
Said, didn't see Mr. Nizam living here.
Okay, we will.
Like, no, or can.
Okay. Calling agenda item number 9, request number 26-00126 Oishii Family Restaurant.
Good afternoon, Commission. Seth Buckley, authorization for licensee Oishi Family Restaurant LLC. We're requesting the commission to approve a change in our operating hours from essentially from 10 p.m. daily to 12 a.m. daily. We have been operating on this premises for nearly 3 years. No incidents, no noise reports or complaints. And in fact, we've had many members of the community ask us if we could extend our hours. So that is part of the reason why we're here before you this afternoon. We do have a letter in support, which is with you in the public record. And if you have any questions or comments on that, happy to answer them.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
I have no questions. I would though recommend maybe telling your client, right, because he is now going to 12. Between that times of 10 and 12, maybe have a record or a log just in case people do start now calling, saying there's noise problems or issues since you were closing at 10, just in case something comes up. That way we have some information if it does.
That's great. I'll tell them that. Thanks.
I have no other comments.
Yep.
Okay, motion to approve request number 26-00126. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00087. Any nays?
Nope, wrong number.
Wrong number. Oh, yeah.
Number 9.
Request number 26-00126. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved.
We almost didn't get his request
I
approved.
have to come back. I'm calling agenda item number 10, request number 26-00127, KCP Retail LLC. Hello.
Again, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, Keith Kiuchi for the licensee. This request is made because my client, for reasons unknown to me, despite me sending a letter to DOTAX, DOTAX has refused to grant a tax clearance because they have insisted my client needs to file an M18 liquor tax form, which does not apply to my client. It only applies for wholesale permits. My client doesn't have a wholesale license. I don't want to play out my client's divorce drama in front of the commission, but that's kind of what's going on here. So the request has 2 parts. 1, late renewal. 2, can we have till August 31st to obtain the tax clearance?
I don't have a problem with any of those. I think the question ultimately is if August 31st is enough time for them to finalize their thing, only because I don't want you to.
Let's do September 30th because I've already sent 1 letter to DOTAX.
Hold on, I just want to check what's on.
So we would have to amend the agenda.
Yes, because we published the August.
Then leave it
31.
August 31st. I'm gonna try to work with that deadline. If I don't, I'll file something else, but
We could amend it.
I mean, I think we have enough people. We'd be open to that, I believe, but I do leave it up to you.
yeah,
Mr.
why don't
Kiuchi.
we leave it at August 31st? If I need to bring it back in, and I'm gonna use that as a hammer on DOTAX.
Okay,
And if you can't tell, this isn't the first time I've had a problem with DOTAX, so.
all right. I don't have any other questions. Motion to approve request number 26-00127. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00127. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved.
Thank you very much.
Request, calling agenda item number 12, request number 26-00053. Zachary D. Iono. Close. If you could give me another try.
You got it.
Okay.
Diana, Zachary Diana, hearing on behalf of Belvies LLC. Last name spelled DIIONNO.
To my right is Kala Kaihue. He is the single member of the Belvies LLC. A letter is self-explanatory. Kala's opening a family restaurant as well as a Okuzuya restaurant in Kailua, and there's a history of a liquor license on that premise, and so we're asking to waive that 5-day rule by when he would need to submit an application to be eligible for a temp.
I have no questions. Motion to approve request number 26-00053. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00053. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved.
All right, thank you.
Number 8 is here. If you want to take them up before the Hawaiian
Okay.
matter.
Okay, so we'll call out of order agenda item number 8. Request number 26-00087, Nizam Lu. Hello.
Hello. Please state your name.
Mahmoud Nizamlu from Bar Coco Nizamlu Inc.
And spell your last name.
Nezamloo.
All right.
Mr. Nizam, what happened with the renewal?
Is so much going on right now that we have so much going on with the business and stuff. So I just missed the deadline. So
Next year you'll be good
apologize
though.
for that. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I had it on my calendar,
Oh.
but it's too many stuff going on that I missed it.
Okay.
Okay, I have no questions. Motion to approve request number 26-00087.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve request number 26-00087. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The request is approved.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Calling agenda item number 13, request number 26-00075, Robert Uyoka. On behalf of Hawaiian Airlines, Inc., and for this agenda item, I will be recusing.
Good afternoon, members of the commission, Mr. Rai, Robert Uyoka on behalf of Hawaiian Airlines. This is a request to proceed on the existing dispenser application. The licensing section requested a copy of the stock certificate for Hawaiian Airlines. We can't locate it. It's not typically required for every application, stock certificate copy. So in lieu of that, we did submit articles of incorporation that says there are 100 shares outstanding. And then we submitted a SEC Form 10K, which says who the owner is. So all documents were filed with the government as far as how many shares are issued and outstanding and how many shares are owned by the parent company, Hawaiian Holdings. This as background, this application has been pending for a while. We all know about the merger in September 18, 2024. Prior to that, there was some floor plan issues that we resolved with the licensing section. And then we hit this kind of hurdle. We're kind of at an impasse right now. We're asking them if the commission could help us. It's not a normal request I put in front of the commission, but since it's still being required by the licensing section and we don't have it, we did try to submit whatever we have to show that exactly what the true situation is. It is a publicly traded company, so we are regulated by SEC as well. So everything we represented and submitted to the Liquor Commission has been also vetted as far as on the federal level.
The licensing supervisor is here if you wish him to comment.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question. I guess, Mr. Sato, if you can please give us either some background or some what we're looking for, and if there is, what sections are we looking at?
Supervising Investigator Daniel Sato. Looking at the Hawaiian Airlines application, there was some concerns as far as what the stock ownership overall for Hawaiian Airlines was. We did request at one point a stock certificate, but we were made aware that there may not be stock certificates, so our investigators asked for additional information as to why, or any other documentation that could be provided. There was conflicting information that was brought in, so we want to clarify that, because at one point, one letter was listed at 118 million shares. And then not even 30 days later, 100 shares. So we kind of wanted to resolve that discrepancy. One way would have been the stock certificate, but at this point, we're asking for any information that could certify what's the actual amount of shares.
Just been comment real quick. The reason why it was over 1 million shares, of course, it was a publicly traded company. And after the merger, the stock changed. So we did submit updated and corrected documents that shows there's only 100 shares right now. But previously, the documents we submitted was because of the publicly traded company at that time, the structure, but they changed the structure post-merger. So what we submitted most recently is exactly what happened post-merger and what is actually the truth right now. There was a change, like I said, the merger in September 18, 2024.
Okay.
Commissioner, sorry,
Yeah.
to add to that, like, the merger was actually completed back in September 2024. The information requested was back in December 2024, and the January representation was of this year.
Yeah, we just got amended information. So the main thing is I'm hoping we corrected it and we can represent on the record that 100 shares is the actual amount now that the dust is settled.
Okay. So I guess when I look at it, right, though, so currently, right, the request is for us so that you guys can continue to move forward in the process.
Correct.
All right. I guess though my ultimate question is going to be, right, I mean, on both parties here, if there is no further documentation you can find, and there's no further documentation that can be provided, where is that going to leave us? I mean, ultimately, right, because I mean, obviously, I think everybody wants to figure out how we continue to move forward with a project that's there and, but I don't know. I mean, I think I'll open the floor to other commissioners for questions.
My question would be, is there a rule that requires copy of the applicant's stock certificate?
I don't believe so, but it does give them discretion to request and require documents to verify any information. So I understand the request. I'm not disputing the request. I'm not saying it's not warranted. I'm saying they have discretion requested. I'm just saying we don't have it. And we've submitted substitute documentation that we possibly can, and that's showing how many shares are issued and outstanding, and a federal document showing who's 100% owner. I mean, other than that, that's the most we can get. But we don't have a problem with them asking for it, but we're just telling them we don't have it. It's
So, to add to that, the information that was provided in the packet is from 2022. And also, September 18, 2024. And we were asking, in December 2024 and January 2025, and still, with the additional documents that you did provide, we still don't have a clear picture on who owns what. So it's kind of presenting a challenge because upon the application, we have to find out who exactly is the owner and what is actually on record as far as how much the ownership is.
I mean, I have right here a amended, I don't want to litigate the whole application in front of this, but I mean, we feel we submitted sufficient documentation. It's filed with the state of Delaware. I mean, and we're a publicly traded company, so we can't, I mean, you were ultimately owned by a publicly traded company, so we're not going to misrepresent. And that's what clearly says 100 shares issued. And then we filed a Form 10K that says Hawaiian Holdings is the 100% owner. So I'm short of that, I don't know what else we can provide to show how many shares are issued and who's the 100% owner. The one thing we could do is potentially, not saying we want to do it in this case, is to issue a replacement stock certificate. I've done it before for cases, but it takes a long time. You have to basically do an affidavit showing that it's lost, has to be approved by the office of the directors. And then we have to reissue because they don't want duplicate stock certificates out there. So basically somebody's gonna have to represent that they lost it, misplaced it. And that's gonna be very difficult. It's gonna take a lot of time. So we're hoping by submitting these corporate documents that were filed with the government agencies and the fact that we're regulated by the SEC, that the information we submitted is sufficient.
Supervisor Sato, where in the application process is this now?
We were trying to clarify the ownership and, you know, we took Mr. Wilka's representations and his documents and we reviewed it. And we did notice that it's kind of substantially outside the merger, which is prior to the merger. So we don't know if what happened post-merger after everything was settled. So that's what's in question at this point. We do understand that, you know, Alaska Airlines owns it, but as far as the Hawaiian Airlines Inc. part, it's not clear, and we don't know what is the actual share amount.
Yeah, so to be more clear, if this is a hypothetical, if the commission were to approve this to continue processing without the copy of the stock certificate, yeah.
Sorry, so at this point, like the stock certificate, if it's lost, it's lost. But there would be some type of other information as far as like corporate minutes, transactional documents, because it is publicly traded, so there's gotta be a record somewhere of where that entirety of that 100 shares or any other amount of shares would go to. I mean, there would be other types of records. And what we're asking is, if there is, we would like to get that record to clarify discrepancies.
So counsel, how long would it take to get the affidavit?
I mean, a stock certificate would probably take about 3 months. I mean, it's a multi-layered company with, I hate to say it, with a lot of lawyers. They would have to clear that. It would take, I would say, at least 3 months. I mean, just this process alone would have taken really long. This application was filed in October 2023, so we're hoping we can resolve this. I mean, a lot of the information that was given was pre-merger, and I'm hoping that we gave enough to give the Liquor Commission comfort that it is actually 100 shares and it is 100% owned by Hawaiian Holdings. As to proving that, I mean, I can rely on my representations and the documents I submitted, but we're not going to get the stock certificate unless there's going to be significant issues. I mean, as far as complications and difficulty to get that stock certificate. As far as any other documents to get that, I mean, I feel like we submitted sufficient documentation, especially because the documents were all file documents. I mean, to me, a file document with government agencies, whether it's the federal government or the state government or the state of Delaware, is almost more reputable and more trustworthy than anything else we can get, because it's representations that people expose themselves as being under penalty. So, I mean, I'm hoping the document we're submitting is sufficient. The stock certificate will take multiple months. I mean, I would say at least 3 months conservatively. And you'll have to go through a legal review, I'm sure.
Mr. Yoka, and I think we appreciate the documents that you submitted for our review. To Supervisor Sato's comment, are you aware of any board minutes that exist that would specifically identify how the ownership is?
I've specifically requested for any minutes. They don't exist. I mean, I guess we could try to create it as an alternative to the stock certificate, but I really feel it's unnecessary at this point, given all we submitted so far. But if that's something that the commission requires, then I can get it. I don't know how long it's going to take to get it, but.
Well, I hope you can understand our predicament, right? I mean, it's part of our process, and for Supervisor Sato to sign off on it, there are certain requirements of information that is needed. So, I mean, if you could request that again, I mean, it would seem odd that there wouldn't be minutes to support, you know, an ownership change and the percent within the minutes of the board meeting. So, I mean, if that is possible.
I will do my best. If that's what the commission requires, I will do my best. I can do it. I mean, I can try to get it. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know if it's possible. But if it's not possible, I'll come back again and tell you it's not possible.
The business is registered here in the state of Hawaii?
Hawaiian Airlines is, yes.
In that business registration with DCCA, is it updated as to what the ownership percentages are?
Yeah, they don't really require the ownership percentage on the DCCA level. So it's only officers and directors. So if it was easy as that, I just give the annual report. Unfortunately, annual report doesn't do it, but I was hoping the federal government would be more credible than that, just because it's federal government, but if the commission is inclined to require me to do that, I can go and try to get it.
So, the commission may go into an executive session for the following reasons. Pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statute, section 92-4 and subsection 92-5A4, to consult with the board's attorneys on questions and issues on a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities, and related to agenda item number 13. Sorry, I gotta get to the request number. Oh, undo. Sorry, 1 second. Pertaining to request number 26-00075 on behalf of Hawaiian Airlines. I'll entertain a motion to go into an executive session for this purpose.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we're in exec session.
The Vice Chair, you ready?
Okay, thank you. We're back from executive session, where we were discussing the board's powers, duties, privileges, and immunities are pertaining to agenda item number 13, request number 26-00075. So, Mr. Yoka, I'm gonna make some comments. First is, based on the request, we are not going to be providing a response or an answer to the request, but we are going to be giving some guidance.
Okay.
So, first of all, when we look at these things, what we want to do right is you to provide as much information as you possibly can in regards to this matter. And then Daniel, in your side, right, you will work toward finishing whatever report to whatever it comes to, so these things can move at least to a preliminary so we can hear it all. And so that way we have everything out there, right? And obviously at that time, prior to preliminary, whatever additional information either of the two of you sides get, bring that together,
It's great, great plan.
you know, because we won't know at that point.
Mhm.
So then I'm gonna open it up to our other commissioners to be able to provide.
So one question that did arise is, at the time of the merger sale, did Hawaiian Holdings own 100% of Hawaiian Air?
Yes,
Okay, so all that stuff would need to come together for the final report for preliminary hearing.
we'll do. Yes, I mean, okay, absolutely.
And the reason again, for that is that it's clear that the Delaware document states that Alaska owns 100% Hawaiian Holdings.
Right.
Right, and there was a period between 22 and 24 prior to the merger. That if there were other ownership of Hawaiian Airlines, right, that's just not disclosed as yet. So if you could fill that gap, that would be helpful.
Okay, we'll do.
I can make a motion on the request number 26-00075 to proceed with processing of the application based on the commission's view that there is enough evidence of ownership to proceed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded with the verbiage used by Commissioner Sakamoto for agenda item number 13, request number 26-00075. Is there any nays or reservations? Seeing none, the chair also votes aye. The request as stated by Commissioner Sakamoto is then approved.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Can we get back Chair Hong?
We are on adoption.
Oh. Why don't you make the motion while I go?
Make a motion and then I'll do the stuff.
For the okay. Move for the adoption of decisions and orders for agenda items number 14 through 19.
So
Been moved and seconded for adoption of decision and orders for agenda item number 14 through 19. Any nays or reservations? Seeing none, the co-chair also votes aye. Adoption of decision and orders for agenda items number 14 through 19 are approved. You want to go to number 20 then?
Up to 20. Okay, calling agenda item number 20, liquor administrator, status report of the systems review, the enforcement section. And I will note an additional piece of testimony was supplied in the packet.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sal Patilos, Administrator of Honolulu Liquor Commission. Last year I did a status report on the system review, as we went through it, and I thought it'd be a good thing to go through that again. And this also dovetails with the fact that that the agency has to file reports with a U.S. District Court with regard to the provisions of the Scarlet Honolulu Settlement Agreement, which basically requires us to report on our progress on these, as well as a couple of other things that were added, that being body worn cameras and making EI training mandatory. So I think that it's good that we're able to tell you where we are and our position here. The unfortunate thing is that we had gone through a process where we thought we were, we had completed things, but we had to take those back and say we're still in progress simply because of the need to engage in substantive consultation with HGA to move those items forward. So with that, let me begin by talking about, Doug, if you don't mind putting the systems review matrix up, please.
The tunnel.
So I think just to as a summary for Commissioners Yun and Pendit. So there were 18 recommendations made by Wei Chen in the systems review, and we've worked on all of those since the start of my tenure here. And I think it's just best to just take it all in chronological order. So one of the recommendations was to replace the manual DAR with an electronic DAR with GPS tracking associated with it. So I think I've told all of you before about the fact that we had gone through a contract amendment, which was necessary for us to proceed and on working on several phases of the LCIS development. One of the things that were subject to that amendment was the phase 5. It's the phase 5 changes, which essentially deals with GPS tracking as well as randomized inspections, randomization routine inspections. So, and I think I've talked about this before, but the contract amendment was finally signed in the beginning of May. Development of the applications has been initiated. And ongoing weekly status meetings are being held between the vendor and HLC. The rub for us at this point is re-engaging with HGA on policies and procedures to ensure substantive consultation. And since this impacts a lot of the things that are recommended here, I just wanted to make sure that to let everybody know that the consultation at this point will be sequential. I think I've mentioned that before. And we'll deal with specific policies on a one-time basis, and rather than dealing with several policies at the same time. And I just want to let you know the anticipated sequences. The uniform policy went through that, implemented that on the 7th of July. The body worn camera policy, we submitted a formal request for consultation on Monday, 7/14, and hopefully that will be possible getting that done. Geolocation data history and randomized routine inspections, there's a policy for that, and we'll follow that. We'll follow that. We'll do that after we get through the body worn camera policy. That said, understand as well that the geolocation, the electronic DER geolocation and randomized routine inspections are still under development, so there's some time there. And then, of course, mandatory DEI training and eventually enforcement of all the general enforcement section policies. There's some potential enhancements that I would like to, I think in terms of routine inspections would be, but there's some things that licensee should have up, like the signs and things like that. I think that would be evidence of that those are in place and the public is aware of those. Second of all, again, I think this part and parcel of the recommendation number 1 is the randomization of routine inspections, and I think we're doing that. It's subject to the same constraints as item number 1. I think that the thing here, and I think I've reported on this, that they're currently using an internally developed application to randomize selection of licenses for routine inspections. And the important thing about that is that we're learning a lot of the things that about inspections. For example, I think I've mentioned the fact that at one point in time, we had a tremendous number of inspections going on. But when we looked at it, it was basically because the system was counting an inspection by each inspector as opposed to counting an inspection of particular premises. So we changed that, we changed the data set on that, and also we've learned things like we probably need more granularity in terms of types of inspections. For example, we looked at after hours inspections as being part and parcel of a routine inspection. And I think that's probably should be differentiated. And so we're looking at those things and hopefully that we'll be able to put those into, well, we're trying to put those into practice now, but hopefully when the application is part and parcel of the things that are developed. Item number 3, we're dealing with training. The recommendation was we bring NLLEA and or other municipal liquor enforcement trainers to conduct annual training for all investigators in Honolulu. I think the important thing here is that we developed a formal 4-week training program for enforcement. And also in the past year, we've been able to obtain funds for customized on-island training by NLLEA in the FY 2026 budget. And in fact, earlier this week, members of administration met with NLLEA to talk about what that training would look like. We anticipate that we'll be able to provide that training sometime in February of next year. And also, I think if you recall, I think we just listed a whole bunch of training at one point in time here. And so I think it's important to see that we kind of formalized that and just made and showed what training may be available, what training is available to the enforcement section. And Doug, if you don't mind putting up the
Administrator?
outline.
So the 4-week training, is that like an initial academy or basic training?
Yeah, it's considered basic training that they go through things.
And then
Here.
you'd have annual
Go through-
reoccurring type
yeah,
training?
And then
Okay.
eventually the idea is that there's a 4-week training, there's the onboarding training that goes on as well. And then and then that 4-week training program, we hope that will be augmented by what we consider essential training for LCI ones. And so that they're more fully aware of the things they're supposed to do. Like, for example, we focus on de-escalation. We focus on modifying aggressive behavior. So it's not as though, and so that's something that's not covered in that initial 4-week training. But I think, we have found classes and training that's available either through NLEA or other agencies that we can use to essentially allow for fuller development of everyone's skills and also professional development moving forward.
So each LSI one would be going through this 4-week training?
They all do. And then,
That's pretty much 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 kind of thing, 1-on-2?
well, it depends on the number of people in that are recruited in that particular class. At this point, the recruitment is such that it's probably 1-on-1. There was a point in time when we had some people come in twice, 2 at a time, but at this point, it's essentially 1-on-1.
Okay, thank you.
So I think, and I don't want to go through the whole list, but the idea here is to provide training to provide our investigators with the skills necessary to do the job, and also to allow them to allow professional development. So we have courses that are provided. Now, we've identified courses that are provided not only by national agencies, but also provided by the city itself in terms of professional development. I think another thing that I want to let you know is that if you look at the list of a new hire orientation, there's a mandatory DEI training with a footnote. Just want to let you know with regard to that, we've identified the curriculum for that, and we are trying to there will be consultation with HGEA on policies and procedures because it's being made mandatory. But also we're in the process of procuring licenses for access to that training. It'll cost some money, but I think it's going to be worthwhile, and that's something that, that we are committed to. And also, we've also identified some other supplementary training that people could take if they want to. Back to the spreadsheet. Thank you, Doug. Item number 5, add daytime shifts. I think we have a morning shift now. And the staff currently by an LCI 3 as well as a personal service contract employee. And I think I want that to be sustainable. And the difficulty there is that I think that depends a lot on enforcement being fully staffed. We're recruiting, we continue, and I think you hear me about the fact that we continue to recruit for LCI 1 positions. And that's really critical. It's critical to fill those up so we can have enough staff. And as well as supervisors or at least field supervisors. That
Just a moment. I think Commissioner Sakamoto has to go soon. Oh,
I was gonna say, why don't we, like, I know you wanna go through, but why don't we take like a 5-minute break? And
yeah. Okay.
so why don't we do that? Why don't we take a 5-minute break? And then, and then we'll come back and then,
All right.
so let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay. We'll go 5-minute recess.
Yeah. That way, they have been, marketing.
Okay, we're back from our recess. We can continue, administrate.
Again, I just want to once again state the operational significance of a fully staffed enforcement section. I think we've always thought about not only having two shifts, but also allowing for 7-day enforcement activity. I think there's a well-known 2-day gap that raises some concern about enforcement efforts. And our ability to do that really is reliant on being able to have a sufficient number of folks in enforcement to be able to send teams out and do that, to do the work. Implement enforcement, monthly enforcement data review. I think the important thing here is the fact that we now have, I think, as I mentioned before, we're using an internal application to randomize inspections. And I think I actually wanted to, this is something that, I want to perhaps raise next week, a more detailed review of what we're seeing. And what that looks like. I think from our perspective, at least, since full implementation of that particular application it does not look like we are visiting licensees beyond what timeframes that we have. So essentially, what we've seen so far is that we're using that application. So we're visiting each licensee as we move forward and not doing multiples. But I'm still looking at some of that data, and there still may be some multiples, but that just could be the function of the fact that we are now flipping over, the odometer is flipping over, and we're going through it again. Because of the time that's taking place. So I think that's something, and I think, for us, being able to review that data, learning from the things from, learning some of the aspects of that information will be critical, not only eventually in the development of the app itself, but also in terms of allowing us to the ability to inspect, and if we inspect something and licensee more than once, knowing the reasons why that's happened, that the ability to ascribe bad intent on with our inspections sort of goes away a little bit, and that we should be able to say, we've gone through everything once, we're now in the second phase, we're now in the third phase. We anticipate that maybe we'll go through all the licensees in perhaps 3 times a year. That's what it's looking like right now. Track criminal citation outcomes. It's unfortunate and confirmed with the prosecuting attorney's office that only cases going to trial are in their system to track. So it's difficult to say that you can track everything when only a few go through only a few are actually entered into the system. Investigations, implementation of centralized complaint tracking. We have used OneView for the past bit. The city is now changing to La Lima, and we are preparing to transfer. We're preparing for the transfer when that occurs. And I think the important thing too is that the process is outlined in updated policies and procedures, and with single ownership. Residing with our DSEA or designee. So I think we've completed that particular recommendation. Policies and procedures update. Again, I think we had gone through the process of submitting HGA, the policies for consultation, but never got really far on that. It's still there, but I think as I said previously, we're re-engaging with HGA in a sequential manner. And at this point, we are focusing on the items that we're trying to bring on board right now. And so, but the policies are drafted and it's just a question of waiting in line as we move forward. Develop policy to mandate random inspection method. Again, this is one of the things that we're going to re-engage with HGA on. Policies and procedures are drafted and again, had been previously submitted. But again, timelines have passed, but again, there's that need for substantive consultation that we need to have. And so we are holding back and just again, going through the sequential process moving forward. Update AP 93 production of monthly plan. Again, I think the training for the enforcement session really puts this as a reality more than anything else. It's an implementation of this idea, and training and staff participation will be tracked via Honolulu. Update, develop policy for regular rotation of investigators for different shifts in assignment. We believe that no policy is required. We have authority to reassign with sufficient notice for collective bargaining agreements. So I think that's done. Update policy procedures to establish clear process for an ownership for handling complaints. I think, as I've said before, the process is now outlined in policy and procedures. Internal employee complaints are submitted to the ASO for referral to contract benefit investigation. All complaints by the public against the cease are tracked in Bundy and La Lima. And then the SEA or Destiny reviews the complaints, a corrective action and responses to that. Remove outdated and duplicated policies and procedures. Again, in progress. I think we've gone through what the policies and procedures of enforcement. We've updated them. And again, we are in the process of re-engaging once again to make sure that we have substantive consultation with HGA. In terms of personnel, there was a recommendation to revise recruitment and promotion questions. Interview questions have been reviewed. Interview questions have been modified, and we're using those. Establish cross-functional working committees for policy procedures and project management. I think this is something that we've done since the beginning here. We have weekly stand-up, which involves all sections, where we discuss issues that we may have in the coming week, or we touch base on some issues that we've seen the week before. Systems review meetings involves all sections, and we go through this and see where we are and ask questions about where we are and what else we need to do. Policies and procedures. We reviewed by all sections because sometimes they touch on other areas, on other sections, and also, and I think it's just good to have different eyes looking at a set of policies and procedures. So we do that, and in fact, and also right now, licensing process review, which we just, I think, has been really important in us arriving at a way to deal with applications that have been in the system for a long time. That took a while, but clearly contribution from all the sections about the things that we're going to do, what that you're going to do, and what we need to do was important in arriving at that change. Commissioners are encouraged to at least one ride along for each commissioner. As you can see, Commissioner Hines, Commissioner Sakamoto have completed theirs. Pending is Vice Chair Hollinger. I don't know, Commissioner Yun, have you gone yet? I haven't.
Not this year.
And also Commissioner Kundeth. again, I extend an invitation to you, let Glenn know when you'd like to go, and we can arrange for you to go on a ride along. And I think it'd be good to see what they do when they go to a licensing, to a location.
One of the things is we're trying to transition from the old system to the new, and it's kind of shocking to see where we are with our old system. To really impress on what the new one is needed and required.
So the 13th recommendations, public engagement, I think, we try to make sure that the newsletters, e-blasts, working with the mayor's communication teams, things like going out to the business law section of the Hawaii State Bar Association. I think when I initially came here and met with industry representatives, and I think that was really important in that I got a sense of how they felt about what we do. I think one of the things that comes to mind really is the fact that there are some who believe that we are on a gotcha footing, and so I think that's affected some of the things that we've done. Like, for example, I think the uniform policy is not going with that, and as well as the fact that we're going through body powers. But I think having that outward sign that they are there, they're employees of the Liquor Commission, that would be a good thing. I was made aware of one situation where people felt uncomfortable because our folks were walking around and they didn't know who they were and stuff like that. So I think that to the extent that we can make that to the extent that our visibility makes that less likely, and I think that's a worthwhile goal. I think for us, I think the important thing this year was the licensing version. And I think that's something that we're going to do on an annual basis moving forward. Develop policy to establish clear and document probationary and performance standards. We changed, we added specific questions to be included in addition to city and county standardized provision performance evaluation. And evaluations themselves are changing by virtue of some of the changes implemented by the city itself. For example, we changed from meets expectations, it's not meets expectation. We now something that exceeds expectations, and with additional requirements of how you justify that evaluation is something that the city has moved forward with, and that's something that we're adopting. Diversified culture and orientation beyond HPD in hiring, training, promotion, policy, procedure. I think for us, if you look at the training recommendations, it's really just a question of, making sure that our employees have the necessary skills to succeed. And also, I think when you look at some of the things that we're moving forward, for example, the amendment of the unlawful discrimination rule to include gender identity and gender expression, it's one of those things. Mandatory DEI training is something that we're pursuing. Again, that is subject to re-engagement of HGM policies and procedures. Updating liquor rules and corresponding practices. You're all well aware of the efforts of Assistant Administrator Harai, and I think it's coming to ahead in terms of the process. My understanding is that there will be meetings with the commissioners to discuss rule amendments, and eventually, I think beyond that, there will be meetings with stakeholders and eventually small business SBRRR. Sorry, Commissioner Kunda, if you're familiar with that one. And hopefully we'll go through the rulemaking process. Clarify enforcement operations for unlicensed premises. I think this is a hard one for us. Because of the statutory language, although, you know, I think we've been good about trying to work with HPD when necessary. And, you know, that's something we're still working on. You know, and I think we've developed some good relationships with HPD. You know, I think that we've helped with certain things and let them know about unlicensed individuals that are selling alcohol, and we reached out to them. And we continue that. We continue that the relationship with them. So those are the recommendations in terms of system review, but also with regard to the Scarlet Honolulu settlement, there were other things that we are tracking via this method. Mandatory DEI training, and I think we've identified the curriculum. We're trying to procure licenses to be able to have access to content. We drafted DEI training policy. Again, in the process of re-engaging with HGA on those policies. Body worn cameras, as you know, is one of the big initiatives of the agency. Beyond the initial research that was done, again, I think you're all aware of where we are in this process. That we're once again re-engaging with HGA. I think it's important to know that the consultation on uniform policy is close. Implementation, as you all know, that's done. So I think we formally requested consultation with them, and hopefully sometime in the next week or so we'll hear from them. I think the important thing to note here is that prior to sending us a letter to cease and desist in terms of the implementation of the uniforms and body worn cameras, they actually sent us several questions. Well, not several, or like 20, I think. And we've responded to those, and if what we've seen in the uniform consultation sending indication, it seems critical that they have written responses to those questions. So hopefully that will speed this process along. Although, who knows? Who knows if other additional questions will come up.
How long has the HCA been reviewing the policies and procedures?
Well, it's depending on which ones you want to talk about.
The body worn.
The body worn cameras, we had issued, we had sent those to them. I can't remember the exact date, but it was a few months ago. Again, I think, you know, I think it's better for us in the long run to engage in substantive consultation than not. I think that'll, you know, that saves us the trouble of having grievances and having that dealt with via another vehicle and having those things even delayed further. But I think it just makes more sense for me to like say, hey, here are our policies, what are your questions, your answers, your responses, and at a certain time we've done our consultation, we've responded to you, we're moving forward. I think it's not a question of coming to full, but just being able to consult and making changes where it does make sense to make changes.
Well, I'm not against HCA reviewing it. I'm just wondering how long it's going to take them. Because you've already had opportunities with state DLE.
Yeah, I think I've had opportunities, but I think we can still dictate to some degree the time frame that they need to respond, right? Again, we're following the same formula as with the uniforms. Give it to you, you have 2 weeks to let us know, let's meet, let's hash this out, and then on a certain day we'll implement it. My hope is that timeline, we follow that timeline and we're able to have that consultation discussion with them within that time frame.
So out of this list, I mean, I am glad to see so much progress across a long list. It's a little disappointing and frustrating on the technology sides. Obviously, that's a bit closer to my heart in terms of focus. Out of the list that remains, what do you feel is the one you want to focus on the most because it will drive the best results within the department?
I think in terms of the list, I think you brought it up. I think having randomized inspection, making sure that the electronic DAR is in place, and we're able to see how we conduct the investigations and how consistently we do things. I think that's really important. I say that with a background of the lawsuit in mind, and the allegations that were raised simply because, it was difficult to see consistency in terms of inspections of licensees. But if we can create a system where we do inspect and we make sure that everybody is inspected regardless of what district they're in or what section of town they're in, that we're able to do that. And I think moving forward, that will allow us to that consistency. I think for us as well, I think it becomes important to be transparent that we do, and also to have a good record of what has been done. And I think we're moving on all those fronts. I think in terms of system review, those are the really critical things. And with that, if there are any questions about the systems review, happy to respond to any questions that you may have.
This is
Nice. If you have more detailed questions, I'd like to ask me. I'm open to questions as well.
I think maybe for our next hearing, we should go through the numerical results that we've been tabulating for now that the year is closed out.
So I think, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't hear that last.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I think if there's no other questions on this item, for our next week's item, can we put on the agenda to go through the data metrics that we have been collecting on our data dashboard and have it kind of sum totaled for the year, so that go through kind of how our year went.
Yeah, we can do that. I think the only hiccup, if I may say, is the fact that I need to make sure that we have the necessary items to be on to be submitted to, so that we meet the requirements that board packets and the agenda has to be 2 days beforehand. But we'll make our best efforts to do that. If you want to talk about it more broadly, or at least it's a placeholder, if you don't mind, we can talk about what we gathered in terms of the inspection so far during the fiscal year.
I was just looking at the data dashboard and I noticed that the data was only updated to February, and so we can get the numbers for the year. That would be good.
We're gonna put it on the agenda
Okay.
for next week, and if you use it, you use it.
Okay.
Not,
Good.
okay.
I don't have any other questions currently.
Okay.
I think
Let's. Okay, let's call up agenda item number 21, Liquor Commission, review of the pilot program. I see that we have a document.
I think, once again, Salpatilos, Administrator, Honolulu Liquor Commission. A few weeks ago, Commissioner, we had gone through a table of fee reduction requests. So, And I think at the end of that, you asked for a draft of a proposal. I don't know if it was the idea was to make the fee reduction permanent. But I've created a draft here of what policy should be, maybe. And I think one of the things that was being considered was whether or not to open it up beyond the applications that have gone through the two temporaries and see whether or not to allow those who are not, who may not have the, who don't have the ability to get the temporary, to allow them to leave. But I think the only thing that I would say with regard to that is the fact that when those applicants apply for a special, right, they apply at the first instance. There's no waiting, there's no period in which, you know, that passes by. All we know is
Just to be clear, can you give the scenario that you're explaining here?
Oh, yeah, so I think one of the things here, I believe Commissioner Hollinger's identified as Little Plum LLC.
Yeah.
I think they did not have the ability to obtain temporary. But you know, they received relief. They received relief. So that was the question.
reason they couldn't have temporaries was,
I believe it was because you cannot get a 120-day temporaries if you're trying to get a permanent license in a
Same
structure that
background.
is not, did not have a prior license in its establishment. So I believe Little Plum was like in a bank.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
Right, so they cannot get they cannot get that special.
Yeah, so they could not get it. And I think that's, I think, you know, up to you to decide, but I just wanted to point out the fact that this is really on the first instance, they can just apply. That said, if you look at the financial burden, so to speak, even at when you look at the reduced rate, you know, they'll be spending as much as somebody who applies for temporary within like 19, 20 days.
Right.
But just something to consider, whether or not that's something that the commission would like to add to the fee reduction program. I just want you to be aware of that difference between the two types.
And I think we gave them relief after 1 year. It was-
No, I think Little Plum came way before that. I mean, I think they put in for the fee reduction as soon as they realized how long it was going to be. I think Keith Kiyuchi came for a different licensee that he had already had for over a year
Mhm.
that was there, and they couldn't have either used the 120 days. But I don't remember which licensee that was.
So would you want to make a recommendation of 6 months or whatever it is that somebody in this position would then be granted relief?
I think my concern here is that, again, if it is a question of the backlog creating this and ability to address that, then I think it seems to require recognition that there has to be some time that passes before, you know, they can apply for relief. But that said, I'm also aware that specials cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like I said, even if at the reduced rate, if you were to treat both types equal, then, you know, somewhere within like 20 days it's done. But that seems like 20 days seems like a really, really short.
Any of the commissioners have an opinion?
we're talking about the pilot project, right?
We're formalizing the pilot project and make it no longer a pilot, so. This is one of the places where the requests came and it was outside the bounds of the pilot project, but we granted relief. And would we want to include that now with some sort of specific term? Or do we just exclude it from the fee reduction entirely, right? So I think those are two things to consider.
I mean. I don't think any of us, I don't think any of the commissioners are going to be somewhat against providing some type of relief to a licensee if they're in dire strait. But it has to be a burden of the commission being the person that's holding them up. If it's their attorneys who cannot figure out who should get what, or if it's
Right.
because they haven't turned in their floor plan, or because they can't find somebody to draw a floor plan, all these things, I think that then falls on their burden, right? But I do think though that whether the fee reduction would be equal to only like 20 days savings, I don't think that matters in a sense for us. I just
Yeah.
think what we really want to make sure, right, is if you're in dire straits, we're gonna help you as long as it's somewhat our problem that we're not getting you through the process, right? But if it's your problem, too bad. You either are not a good enough attorney or you're not hiring the right attorney, whatever it might be, right, to process your stuff. But I do think that
Well,
we have to figure out what those, I mean, when would they do it? Like, in my opinion, if you're gonna be doing like, for instance, a little plum type of situation, knowing how far these things are, you probably would wanna come to us when you first start your process and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, I can't get this. Is there some way for us to have some type of relief? Cause I think we've done that, like where they can pay monthly and all these different things, right?
It has to be case by case.
That too.
Because some of the agents or attorneys try to play the board.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that just doesn't go.
Yeah, that too.
But I think codifying it and saying that these are our guidelines. Already, you're either in the guideline or outside the guideline, right? So here, it's pretty clear on the two temps. That's.
Well, that was the
pretty clear
original
guidelines,
intent.
yeah.
They burned through the two temps. You know, and they explained the situation and fine, and if it's because of licensing and the commission and the authority, then, you know, fine. But if we're gonna expand that, then yeah, you're right. You need to set it up. But again, we're gonna come across exceptions, right?
Yeah. One of the things I have noticed though, and I think we do need to have more clarity on, is when people fill out the form, they need to fill it out more clearly, or they're gonna get a lot more questions. And-
Well, I would say this, me personally, if the form is not filled out correctly, it shouldn't be accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, like realistically, right? I mean, we do the same thing, right, with licenses and everything else, right? If it comes in incorrectly, we either have them replace it or fix it, or we don't. Not where we need to ask, so when did you do this? When did you do that? Cause at that point, we don't know what they're whether they're telling us what it really is or not. That's just my opinion, personally.
Yeah.
And it also holds some gain that you take ownership.
Yeah, and I think the form was designed to see whether or not, you know, there's fault on the part
Yeah,
of the liquor commission. It's important to have that information to see whether or not, you know, I submitted X, I never heard from you guys again, and, you know, how it goes over, whatever. And I think that's essential that at least they provide you with minimal information necessary to decide whether or not the fee reduction should be. But I, in terms of creating a standard for temporary, for the ones who cannot that temporary, that's, And I don't want to say that we're already at fault at the very beginning of the
Yeah, because
process.
we're not. They,
It's just
they're
a
gonna
new
start this process
Right.
in this fashion. And then they should, if this is what they want, they need to keep us apprised as it's going, and they should really be on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and
Give
I
a little
can,
plum
yeah,
case.
yeah. I mean, again, I can also see being a case by case basis, but maybe we do need a time limit, right? Where if you've gone through 6 months or something, right? Because you never know, right? Could get it through if you got everything, who knows, quick, right? I don't know. But
I don't know that we have to decide right now, but.
yeah, I mean, I think we all have to figure out what that number is or.
I just wanted to bring up that
That's
issue.
good.
Yeah,
Because when you think about it, in the first instance, there's the, it doesn't have that runway that the folks getting a temporary have. And it's almost as though a strict liability on our part, but hey, we put in an application and from day one, then we get relief. Despite the fact that just we received the application and here's the application for specials.
Yeah, but then in that case, there's this, you're walking in knowing there's this cost of doing business until a reasonable amount of time and effort for you to get your license has passed.
I think it's a discussion for the commission to see whether or not what's a reasonable amount of time.
And Administrator, I mean, all this discussion is generated because of the timing in which it takes us to process an application. Sometimes, correct? And so as we implement new technology and get more efficient in our systems, do you anticipate that issue or that problem will continue?
I think there will always be a time of processing, no matter what. You know,
But that's why the 2 temps were kind of implemented, right, is to provide us time in which and not impact the applicant, correct?
I don't know if the temps in code were specifically designed for that,
But it's allowed that.
but it's allowed that, and I think the way the commission's interpreted it.
Now, I'm just trying to marry up all the system issues that we're going through, right? And all the technology that we're implementing and the results that we should expect from that activity and how that's going to impact our processing and whether or not this will continue to be an issue or not.
I think let me clarify that in terms of technology that we're implementing things that are designed for the enforcement side and not so much the licenses. And I think that in terms of the license side, we're still looking at ways to improve and address that backlog. And it may eventually come to the point of saying maybe something like this is something like that, similar to what DPP did. But I think at this point, we're trying to see whether there's something we can do to reduce that backlog, for example, by just identifying things that have been around, but nothing's happened. And so I'm trying to purge those from the system.
Some of the items on the data dashboard, just put some numbers around it so that we can at least have visibility into it. So it would be a good thing for us to review.
Absolutely, yep. Thank you.
But I think that's the story. I mean, the commission is trying to address it, cut people some slack. But sometimes the full story isn't being revealed. So why some of the applications have been delayed, and it's not necessarily the fault of the investigators. And it's sometimes on the applicants if they don't submit plans or they don't get the necessary clearances. The paperwork is messed up, but sometimes the council and the mayor's office doesn't understand or hear that aspect.
I think part of the thing is part of the delays that we see are, as you said, I think no one's innocent in here. That sometimes applicants just don't provide, first of all, they don't provide the correct information. And then sometimes it takes them a while to respond to the requests from licensing. Those are some of the things, and sometimes we just say, hey, the ball's in your court. And so there's no follow-up in that sense either. some of the things that we need to think about, I think, we go through the process of identifying ways of dealing with the applications that we build. So whether or not we, commission needs to change our process by saying, what? 30 days after we send you that, we follow up and we say, hey, if you don't provide this and so on and so forth, then maybe withdraw until you're ready. Hopefully people will respond. I think, we sent out a few possibility of withdrawals, and some withdrew their applications and others provided the information that was necessary. And hopefully you can move forward on those. But it's something to think about whether or not it makes sense for the agency to sit and repose as opposed to being more proactive in terms of trying to get that information.
So I don't know if this is occurring or not, because part of the original design with LCRS was so that licensees or applicants could track the process, right? And the question is, are they doing it? And I mean, that would provide the audit trail.
I think that's part of the thing. I'm going with what, DPP has said about engagement with the applicants, or whether or not they're, just because we have a system doesn't mean that they're going to be engaged, right? And from what I've seen, there are instances where I do send out and they respond, and sometimes they don't. The question for us becomes, do we need to be more proactive and say, hey, by the way, 30 days ago we sent this, we have responses. If you don't respond by X, then we'll begin the process of withdrawing the application. You have the opportunity to provide the requested documents or information when your new application comes in, and hopefully that will be complete. I think if it's complete, the process is a lot faster than
Any other questions?
No.
Agenda item number 22, liquor administrator, administrative matters.
I'm monopolizing your time this afternoon, or this evening at this point. Salpatilos, Administrator, Honolulu Liquor Commission. Again, in terms of operations, I think this is some review update. As gives an indication of critical it is that we hire LCIs, and I guess it's also an indicator of why I talk about this so much, but whether or not we've been able to hire and so on. And so let me just say that we've had a list of candidates again, and interviews took place today. I don't know what the results of those are. We have here that we had a meeting with MLEA to talk about what the customized training would look like. Initial conversations. We'll have more conversations with them moving forward as we try to get an idea of what the curriculum will be for that training. Chief Investigator Neri accompanied enforcement. Actually took time, and everybody in the morning was saying we're set. We're like, oh, I think he's gonna change his time so that he can spend some time with enforcement and get that. I think just to let you know, and I think it's probably clear that we filed a quarterly report for the U.S. District Court for the Scarlet Honolulu settlement on the 14th. And formal requests for consultations on the BWCs were forwarded to HGA on the 14th as well. Public service announcement. We have GLS workshops for tomorrow and also the 25th. I believe we have 26 registered for the 2 sessions tomorrow, and so far only one for the 25th. I'm hoping that people take advantage of that because I think sometimes people just don't fully understand it. And we prefer that they not be in violation, just be able to file correctly. And with that, do you have any additional questions for me?
Nope. Okay, agenda item number 23, to the commission, any announcements? Anything else? Okay.